No mistake to my peoples. Today's video we're going to talk about Jiu-Jitsu in the Matrix. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the Matrix. Does it work? This is all I'm going to say about Jiu-Jitsu. Anything works. Look, most people don't know how to fight. Let's keep it there. If you're going to learn a martial arts, whatever you practice, most of the time in the street fight will most likely help you out. Now, if you're going to go fight these pros, is a different story. So when you go online and you watch all these people talk about, no, this martial arts is the best. Jiu-Jitsu is the number one. Muay Thai is number one. Kung Fu, Krav Maga, Capoeira, all these different martial arts. You understand what I'm talking about. I do not understand why people go online and say which martial arts is more superior, which martial arts is more inferior. As you see now, in the early 2000s, Jiu-Jitsu was winning in the UFC. And as soon as people started understanding Jiu-Jitsu and started getting into it, now it's a little bit harder to submit people because everybody knows how to get out of submissions. Everybody know what they're doing now. But before in the past, it's like, oh, we don't know what we're doing. And they were just killing people, just breaking them apart. And what I tell everybody is 99% of the people are not going to be a UFC fighter. Once again, 99% of people are not going to become a UFC fighter. You got your people that only like to do jiu-jitsu and they go do tournaments and they do this and they do that and they do this and do that. You got people who grew up doing Muay Thai. Them young kids start Muay Thai when they're 4 years old, even probably 3 years old. Since when they come out the mom's stomach, they strictly Muay Thai, karate, kenpo. It's some of them that I really don't, not really going to talk about because I really don't think it's necessary. But the best martial arts is the one that you put 100% into it. If you're going to take jiu-jitsu for 1 month and then you think you're going to beat a pro Muay Thai fighter, you're out your mind. If the same way, vice versa, if you've been doing Muay Thai for a year, you're not going to beat that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter that's been fighting 10, 20 years. Unless you're not going to beat him. And what you got to understand in the streets, most people don't know how to fight. That's why I don't get into fights, because they do one haymaker and it might be a wrap. And that happens in the street fight. It's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you don't want to be on the ground, but I'm 100% sure of this. Most people who know how to fight, they do not go out in the streets to fight people. Once again, the people who knows how to really fight do not go outside and try to fight people because they understand the damage that they can do. So most likely when you go out, you got street fighters that are nasty as hell that never train and stuff like that. You got street fighters. I know a whole bunch of street fighters who are nasty, but them street fighters are not going to be they're not going to beat a UFC fighter at all. And that's because that's all they do all day. 8 hours a day, 7 hours a day, 10 hours a day, depending on what they're going to do. You feel me? So stop with this ego and stop thinking that because you've been doing something for a couple of months, a couple of weeks, you think you can take on the world and think you're going to win. There's no superior martial arts. It's only the superior person, the superior human being. You fall in love with an art. I love Tai Chi. I love the slowness. It's like a moving meditation. Are you going to beat somebody up with it? I don't think so. But I think Tai Chi, the older you get, it helps with the movement. It keeps you fluid. It keeps your joints. And you see them, if you ever been to China, I went to China for a month, but if you've been to China, you can see them people out in the park. They're doing the form and just moving. And I think it's a beautiful art. I watch Capoeira. It's a beautiful art. If you master that art, then that's you. Fall in love with it. Do not go online arguing with people and saying that my martial arts is the best martial arts, because one day you're going to meet a fighter from that particular style and he might not be good. You see people who've been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for 10 years, they're still in blue belt because they stop and go, stop and go. So if somebody can tell you, oh, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 10 years, but how many classes have you taken? Do you understand what you're doing? So does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu work in the matrix? You have to understand it because everybody now is using it. Everybody now is using it. So it's a beautiful, if you understand Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I don't like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because I don't like people being on top of me, and that's something I have to get past. So I'm thinking about taking more classes. I took like a couple of classes here and there, and I'm telling you, it's hard. That's why people are so good, because it's hard. People who start from the bottom and work their way up to a black belt, most people quit. Most people don't even go get the white belt because they don't start. And most people quit at blue belt. So what you gotta understand is, surviving the matrix, you gotta understand a little bit of everything. Now that even wrestling and this mixed martial arts where everybody just incorporating everything, I think Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu goes with everything. You know, if you're a Muay Thai fighter and you know a little bit of Jiu-Jitsu, then it might help you in a outside fight. But stop with the ego. Stop going online and thinking that your art is the best art, when at the end of the day, here in Florida, everybody got guns. So I don't care if you're the best fighter. Somebody step in your shoe. Oh man, I apologize. No, you good, you good. Because I'm in Florida. You don't know who has a gun. You don't want to mess with the wrong people who got a gun. The weakest person might have a gun, and you don't want to be caught in that situation. So that's why I'm extremely aware of my surroundings. I'm extremely aware of just everybody. I'm good at apologizing. I'm good at letting people go. You need to understand the kung fu of how to talk to people, how to leave people alone. I don't go out to bars anymore. I might go bars once a year. I might go out and party and chill every once in a while. Probably never. But alcohol and fights don't mix, so I try to keep away from that. And the good things about real martial arts and real martial arts fighters and UFC fighters and people who train every day, they're the people who not out there looking for fights, because they understand the damage they can do. They understand the power that they have, and that's a real man that can take, and females too, because there's females that are nasty too. So I'm not trying to put them in a different category, but they understand that they can do damage. And thank you, my peoples. Namaste.